Give me 1 second while I fix my microphone. Oh, so tonight, guys, we're going to be talking Q&A, man. Drop your questions. I haven't done a Q&A in such a long time. If you're struggling, locking up your first deal, if you're struggling finding ways to be creative, to produce more leads, it's November, what is it, the 1st? It's the 1st, man. We're going into a whole new month. It's the holiday season. I definitely want to give you some information and some ways how to talk to sellers and as well as persuade sellers to sell their properties and get deals under contract going into 2023. One of the things I noticed in the last 7 months was, the conditions of the market change where the market isn't as hot. It's becoming more so a buyer's market, and you have to kind of like, train and teach your sellers that, hey, there's no more $20,000 over asking. You know what I mean? It's definitely back down to what things are worth and what things going to be worth maybe 6 months from now, 7 months from now. There's a lot of uncertainty going on. And I think a lot of people, real estate is one of the things, but there's so many people always trying to get started in real estate. So I think a lot of the newer people, they just got to be very careful and be very, aware that, a lot of people going through a lot of financial issues. So you can't just get a deal on a contract and hope and learn as you go and hope and pray that you're going to find a buyer. These people are dependent on selling their house. They won't lose it through foreclosure. They're dependent on getting the money so they can move to different places. So you definitely want to make sure that you know what you're doing. You're equipped with the tools and the resources so that way you can be a service to people. And then people will want to continue to do business with you. Because real estate is a relationship business. And if, title companies see that you're closing deals consistently, if a tire landlord see that you sold a few headache rental properties for him or her consistently, they're going to continue to bring you work. So if you want to be a virtual wholesaler, if you want to wholesale, you definitely got to know how to network and create relationships with people because I guarantee you 30 to 40% of your deals is going to come from referrals and word of mouth. So that being said, tonight I just want to talk about setting up tools and getting organized and then setting expectations, right? So making sure that you have your systems in place, making sure that you have all of your tools in place is definitely going to be important because if you're running a business with virtual assistants, you're going to need to be able to monitor them. So, using something like screenshotmonitor.com, if you're going to be paying them, there's a bunch of ways you can pay your VAs. You can start off with PayPal, but eventually you have to switch to another platform because PayPal has a limitation of, what you can send on a yearly basis. So you just want to make sure you're in compliance to that. So one of my favorite places to send money to our virtual assistants is through wise.com, WISE.com, and then also Payoneer, PAY, Payoneer.com. It's a really good platform to send consistent money. And then you just want to set up your schedule. So, the holidays are approaching. We give our VAs off on Thanksgiving time, uh, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We give them days off and they're paid holidays. So making sure that you're compensating your team is really important. What else? Uh, Setting up the expectations of like what type of leads you want to generate. So you should be very direct. Now, a lot of the veteran people, uh, no, I never sent with Remitly. I tried, but they always asking me to verify all this stuff. So I like to go to platforms that isn't complicated, but I definitely love Wise right now. WISE. Wise is really good. The VAs, it's a minimum fee. When you send money through like PayPal and all that, they charge you money as well as the VA money, so they double dipping. So I didn't really hear nothing negative about Remitly, but I definitely like Wise. But back to what I was saying. Um, you want to make sure that you are reaching out to build your list with cash buyers. The veteran cash buyers, they buy up and down, sideways. It don't matter the market. They're still going to do deals. So the easiest thing to do right now is to go to propstream.com and pull up the flippers list. And then what we do, and we teach this inside of our trainings, is we skip trace the LLCs. We don't really skip trace. We just do it like a quick little reverse search, and I can show you guys how to do that. And then we call them these flippers or these investors one by one, and we ask them the criteria. What are you looking to buy in the next 3 to 6 months? How quickly can you close? What type of funding are you getting? Are you using hard money, cash? And then we add them to what we call our VIP list. And the reason why we're doing that is because we know for a fact that these buyers love buying right now during these times of the year so they can work on their fix and flips. And then when March and April come, when the springtime come, they have 2, 3, 4 houses hitting the market. Because typically for a full gut renovation, it's gonna take you between 3 to 5 months to do everything from top to bottom, especially through the winter months. If you are catching, like if you here like me, I'm in the Northeast, so the winter months are inconsistent, unpredictable when it comes to snow and ice and bad weather. So there may be times where your job site may not move for a few weeks. So as a wholesaler, you need to understand that for the fix and flippers. So follow up with everybody that that you've been talking to in the last 7 months, and just reach back out to them, right? If you don't have a list of people that you can make at least 40 follow-up calls a day, you're definitely missing out on your acquisitions. I definitely think that you guys should be investing in some type of sales training. It don't have to be through me or anybody else, but you still should be polishing up your skills, because you should know how to close people over the phone or even in person if you're still going to appointments. There's nothing wrong with going to appointments. I used to love going to appointments, honestly. Get out the house and meet new people. But it's going to take a lot of listening. I think most people struggle with, uh, getting deals on a contract because they're not listening. They're being more transactional than anything. And the issue with being transactional is that, yeah, you're making an offer to a seller, but is that truly solving their problems, right? So most people just, yeah, my offer is 70% ARV. The most I can pay is 120. Here's my offer. Versus listening to Miss Susan and Miss Susan telling you the reason why she needs to sell and what she's going through. And instead of you asking and digging for more information, you'll say, okay, how many bedrooms, how many baths? Versus saying, okay, I understand you need to sell. What's pushing you to sell? Would you want to wait till before Christmas or after Christmas to get this done? Is this something important to you right now? And so you can engage with them to understand and feel and know that, oh, this is a right now thing, right? One of the things about sales is you can't rush the process, right? If a person isn't ready today, you can't force them because they're not going to stop answering the phone for you. So what you need to do is find some commonality with them. You still call them up. Hey, I'm just checking in on you. Hey, I see we're getting a little bad weather, so I just want to check in and make sure everything's good with you. By the way, have you put any thought into what we talked about last time? So that's some of the things that most people don't understand, that you have to cultivate a relationship. It takes on average, from what we see, especially on my end, talking to somebody 15 minutes on the phone to really build a good enough rapport with them where they can make a decision with anything you got that's going on with them. So if you're on the phone with someone 2 or 3 minutes and you're ready to give them an offer, guess what? They're not going to truly do business with you, because at the end of the day, they haven't really know who you are and what your intentions is, and their guards are still up. So that's one of the things I definitely want to recommend, is to continue to build rapport with your prospects. Continue to coach and mentor your VAs. If you don't have time to meet with your VAs at least 3 to 4 times a week for well over 5 or 6 hours, we got something really amazing that we're going to be dropping very soon. Guys, if you're watching this YouTube live, especially if you're watching the replay, don't hesitate to write your questions. Uh, we get to your questions every week. We're going to be doing some type of Q&A. So just drop your questions in the chat, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, and we will get to your questions as soon as possible. I got my guy France here. Maybe he can talk and give some insight of what's going on, especially in these winter months, what you should be doing to improve your business.
Right. Thank you for the introduction, boss. So my name is Franz. I've been Antoine's COO for over 2 years now, and I pretty sure that if you've watched and followed our content, you probably heard of me from different videos while back. So today, we're basically just asking questions, or I'm sorry, answering questions that are commonly asked, but we also requested some from our email list, and they have sent in a few questions about some certain things. There's still been ongoing confusion on how to get started with real estate wholesaling, the ideal ways to do marketing, making sure that everything is efficient, right? Because of course, for our for us business owners, we always need to make sure that the money that we put in for the business is something that is going to something that's going to produce a result from us. Although that may not, there may come a time wherein it doesn't, but you shouldn't be fretting about that at all. Just like what Anton said, is that your list is valuable from the start that they came into your pipeline. You always have this opportunity wherein you can reach out to them again in 6 months, because everything changes, right?
Right.
And a lot of things can change with that amount of time. So what I do in our business is that I train virtual assistants to be an effective virtual assistants to be provided to our clients. And in that training, I always teach them on how they can be of value to our clients. How can they be the one that would definitely be a partner for our clients. And what we always talk about is the competition. One thing that VAs are actually afraid of are the competition, not just the other VAs, but the other businesses as well. So, how would you deal? So, here's the first question: how would you deal with a certain competition, and how can you figure out if they're an ally to you or not? Like in a certain market that you are venturing in.
I think there's always going to be competition, especially in this in this business. There's always going to be a lot of people that's going to try to befriend you and then try to take something from you, such as like daisy chainers. They get on your email list, and then as soon as you send out a deal, they get on a contract and then act like they're the buyer or send someone else to be the buyer, and then all they're doing is shopping around that deal to try to put their markup on it. But one of the things I do recommend is be unique, offer a unique service to sellers, like become a solution provider. Let them know that you understand that they can be doing business with other people, they can be talking to other people, but this is why you should talk to me, right? And once you set that separation, and you show that professionalism, and then you're showing empathy, I think that puts you in your own race. Like you don't really have to worry about competition, right? So that's one of the things I definitely suggest. And then after you close the sale, send a thank you gift, right? If you do a business with a seller, say, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Here you go. Like send them a card, a heartfelt card with some brownies or some cookies. There's so many ways to show people your appreciation. You don't have to spend $1 million to show them your appreciation.
Exactly. That's actually a great tip right at the end when you said that, because we will never realize, right, that the foundations that we've already built with this relationship is that they could refer you to their friends, even relatives, or even someone who they know that
Right.
is selling their property. And of
Exactly.
course, the people that they know are usually close by.
Right.
And building a relationship is very important, because sometimes what happens, a habit that a business owner would actually not realize is that after a certain deal, or after they're already done with all of the things that they needed to do in such a deal, they forget about the person who actually sold their property.
I
It's
agree.
like it's like the end of it, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think that I think most real estate investors struggle because they don't understand that this is a business you're building. So you need to build a brand, you need to have consistent marketing, and you need to build a sales team. And they just want to, hey, I'm just going to call these sellers and I want to make $50,000. And that's not really the case. You have to have the four pillars, and that's something that we teach, and we teach our clients about the four pillars. And if you don't have the four pillars together, like yeah, you may spend 3 months on lead generation, and then by the time you finally get a contract, you don't understand dispositions. So now that contract end up expiring because you didn't take the time to build a list for cash buyers, and then you didn't take the time to create the infrastructure to sell your deals as quickly as possible.
Exactly. And now you mentioned earlier about certain uniqueness on a solution that a certain business can provide. Can you cite some examples of what they can actually provide to sellers? Like I know another example is like helping them out move out or
Yeah, I mean, you can like you can create internal programs such as like moving assistance where you have a VA or admin VA to go around and call property places to move, like property complexes or houses for rent. And you can assist with, helping them fill out the application. You can offer moving assistance where you just hire a company. They got a bunch of different companies, like 3 trucks and the guys. Like create a Rolodex of these different people where you may take that out your assignment fee. That may be calculated into it. Some people are like, oh, I'm not giving up nothing for my assignment fee. But
right,
if that's what it costs to get across the finish line, because this older lady or older gentleman can't lift up a couch by themselves because they're in their 60s. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this or not, but most of your sellers or the people you're talking to are well over the age of 50. So they're going to need some help, especially if they don't have family here or whatever. And if you can offer that, like, yo, don't worry about packing and moving, we can take care of that. Don't worry about finding a new place to go. We'll assist you with that. That don't mean you're going to do it for them. You may just send them a list of property management companies to look at, right? You may arrange transportation for the property management company to come pick them up and give them a ride to go check out the house or whatever. So there's so many things that you can do to create that uniqueness in your business that you should just write a list of everything that you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do, and then train your salespeople, whether you're using VAs for acquisitions or you're using yourself or someone else. But they need to know out the gate how what could you do, what could you not do as quickly as possible to keep them conversations very interested.
right. Thank you. And we have a question in the chat from YouTube, Canty Enterprises. Shout out to you. Wholesale a property with a realtor attached.
Believe it or not, when we first got into this business in 2016, we was at the local Rears. They was teaching us, like, we didn't know what cold calling was. We didn't know what text message marketing. I don't even think people was texting back then. Well, it wasn't a big thing as it is now, but we didn't know none of that stuff. So our first few deals, we was working with realtors. We wholesale. My friend Bashir, he did about 7 deals, wholesaling MLS properties, because at the time, that's how we was told to do business. There was so much inventory, so much foreclosures. Because at the time, like, it was okay to buy a foreclosure from the bank because there was still so much inventory from the last down market. When the economy crashed, that you can buy stuff 20, 30 cents on the dollar off the MLS. So that being said, to answer your question, it just makes sense, right? If the realtor is savvy enough to understand what are you doing, right? Are they working with a broker that's going to be okay with allowing you to do what you're trying to do, right? Because transparency is everything, especially if you don't have a proven buyers list. Like I said, if you don't have a whole system in place where you're confident to getting that property in a contract and selling it, you want to caution doing something like that because you can lose your EMD. The realtor can report you to the board of realtors. They can say you've been unethical and fraudulent because you signed a contract knowingly that you can't perform and close. Um, you can put the tenant in a bad, I mean the seller in a bad situation where she may lose her house because of she in pre foreclosure and they thought that she was going to be able to perform and close and you didn't have any intentions on closing the property. So if you want to work with a realtor, just make sure you have all your ducks in a row and it makes sense. And most importantly, you should be working on building that bias list every single day. So as soon as you get a deal, you can text it. My rule of thumb is if you can't sell a deal to the first 5 people on your phone that you call that's a buyer, then you might want to continue to build your bias list to find them buyers that you can sell to as quickly as possible. Because a lot of people they get a deal and they're having a hard time selling it because it's truly not a deal. They didn't really do their formula right, their criteria isn't right. They're looking at stuff from 10 months ago when the market is already shift. So once you understand how market shift and prices, and if you keep a pulse on what lenders are lending at and the points and interest, then you as a wholesaler will have an upper hand advantage. One of the tips that I would give you though is to find 2 or 3 solid hard money lenders and then send them your deals and then say, yo, can you pre-qualify this and give me terms attached to this and what you would do this deal for? And then when you send out your deals, you can always say financing already in place, financing already set up. Hard money lender will close for 10 points, 10% interest and 2 points. Like, then investors know that, okay, if the hard money qualified is, it may kind of be a deal. Well, let me go with this hard money to do the business. So that's my answer to your question with the relatives.
All right. Thank you, Canty Enterprises, for your question. And also, what the tip that Anton mentioned is actually going to be in our disposition course in the future. I know we're plugging in the different plays that we have, but of course, it's something that we teach specifically to our students. But another question for me, though, just to piggyback on what they asked, would you recommend this to a newbie wholesaler? Like wholesaling a property with a realtor.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't, because most newbies don't have the means to close. They don't have the relationships to partner with a cash buyer to buy the contract from them, even if they take a little less. So I definitely wouldn't. If you decide to do that, the newbie should hire a good mentor or consultant that has these relationships, that can reach out to different people to help them through that process, so they won't be all by themselves. Because the realtor, once you make an offer to a realtor, you got to understand there's a difference between a cash offer, a finance offer. Like, example, if your offer is based on appraisal, then you have to disclose that to the realtor. So if you're going to with a hard money lender and they require an appraisal to buy the property, then you might want to kind of like make sure that you're in the ballpark of doing that deal. Because for me, when we do deals, we look at deals, we look at it as if we was an appraiser ourselves. What would this appraise for as is, as well as what would appraise for as the active repair value. Once you understand that, then you're able to, never really hear the word no, because you understand what these houses are worth and what they sell for.
I see. So it's probably always going to be like a good idea for a newbie realtor to have, or not realtor, but a wholesaler to have a mentor or coach.
Yeah, definitely a mentor, coach, consultant, advisor, somebody that can be in your corner and coach you through it, because these relatives expect for you to know what you're doing. One of the things I want to point out to everybody is, once you tell people you're a real estate investor, you've been a newbie, you not knowing nothing, you not understanding, you not knowing what you're doing, you just your first deal, all that goes out the window. They hold you accountable as much as the guy who's been in this business 10 years, because you're saying to them, I am a professional, I know what I'm doing. So they don't care if this is your first deal. They don't care if you didn't get the proper training. They don't care about any of that. Once you start to sign papers and stuff and you're not honoring it, they're going to have a field day with you.
Right. Because the seller would always assume that everything that you're going to do from that point, once you do business with them, is the solution that you promise to
Exactly.
provide. And it's
Exactly.
nothing different from those people who have experience.
Exactly. So a lot of people, man, they just gotta understand that you can't use the "I'm new," excuse me, I'm new. Like, once you in this business, that you gotta be treated as a professional. You gotta respect that and understand it.
Exactly. And of course, you want to be on the safe side as well, right? Because you're establishing reputation at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, because see, because all you have is your word in this business. So once you piss off a few cash buyers or relatives, they all go to the same drinks, bars, drink. They all go to the same meetups. They all go to the same conferences. Like, they're gonna eventually talk bad about you and kind of like shadow ban you or blacklist you.
Exactly. And you don't want to start off with that.
No,
Definitely not. So if you are new to the business and you're looking for something that will truly help you establish and implement what needs to be done for your business, find a good mentor or a coach. Anton, of course, is we do have that kind of a service too. But any way that you're going to comfortable to work with someone, we highly suggest it. And another question. So this is something that that has been heard of from a lot of actually even our clients or from our community as well, that they are sort of like indulge too much on the YouTube university.
Hmm.
right? How much type of a real estate education do you actually need to get started?
Wow, that's a good question. I do think you need to understand the concept of what you're doing, and then you need to have a plan, right? So, like I said, you need to understand like what is your business made of? Your business is made of lead generation, acquisitions, dispositions, and transaction coordinating. So, if you don't understand all of that stuff and how it all works together and the flow process, you're already in trouble. So, I do think that you should at least take time to learn that basic things, and then once you get out there in the field, maybe partner with somebody, JV with somebody on your first couple of deals. Some of the people are afraid to just say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, let me come work with you, so I can learn what I'm doing, and then 2 3 months I can go on my own and do this by myself. Find a big time operator or big time wholesaler. Let them know you're not trying to, work for them long term. You're just trying to learn the business, even if they require you to put a little money in their pocket. Because people got to respect the fact that you got to pay to play. And what that means is you have to bring something to the table other than a sob story that you're brand new and please help me, right? There's a lot of people that's brand new and they want to be helped. But the only way to really get someone's attention is to invest in yourself or to bring value to the table by working with them and let them benefit from you working with them, right? So once you understand that and you crack that code, then you can literally do this business by yourself. But you're going to need to kind of like look over somebody's shoulder or really buy a course and go through the details and then find somebody like at a local meetup. You can go to meetup.com, go to a bunch of different meetups, join some Facebook groups, network with people, hop on like lives like this. Just say, hey guys, I'm looking to work with somebody to get my first deal. Become a value to people. You can't have this entitlement or you can't have this lazy streak where you feel like somebody owe you something, because that's the biggest turnoff in this business that people post. Oh, I messaged Antoine and no one wants to help me. Well, at the end of the day, you have to bring value to someone in order for them to even respect you. Because you know how many people come, friends, you know how many people come in and out the wholesale business on a maybe weekly basis that
Countless.
seen the idea of it and it just intrigued them because of the money, but they didn't even calculate the amount of work it takes to get to the money. So you got to understand
Countless.
that a lot of people don't want to waste their time, and it ain't that they don't like you or that you're not a cool person. It's just that people been down this road before with people, and they really don't want to waste their time.
Yeah. The experiences of the people who have been in the business is something that they truly value, because that's where they learn and actually base some of their decisions from.
Exactly.
And then if you can't hear, or if you're a newbie, of course you don't have the enough experience, but listening to even that, like this kind of a podcast is something that you would be able to do, right? But if you indulge too much on the courses that probably has the same end goal of what you need to learn at the end of the day, but you don't put any action to it, you don't get your feet wet on what actually it is that you need to do, you're not gonna go somewhere or anything like that.
I agree.
You cannot be afraid. I think it's the term for the whole professional world out there. You cannot be afraid. You always need to put what you learn in practice, so that it's something that you will be able to try, and depending on what the result is, then that's how you're going to decide, okay, I think still need to learn about the acquisition aspect of this business, about the disposition aspect of this business. I think I still need to do more cold calling. And if you don't want to, of course, we have virtual assistants, right?
Right.
But you, as a business owner as well, you need to know all of these things, like what Anton said. You need to know all of it to the extent wherein you can already get, or you will be able to write up a standard operating procedure that goes on a daily basis for your business. And that
Yeah.
way, too, it's going to help you passively.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the blind can't be leading the blind. You gotta know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like if you hire a VA, and a VA is an employee, whether you look at it or not, they work for you. They need leadership and guidance, and you're not like in a situation where you're equipped to have the leadership and guidance. You need to go out and find somebody that could get you to that point, because at the end of the day, these employees need you. They need somebody to lead them, right? They can't do it by themselves. So I think a lot of people gotta understand that when you go get a VA, that's an investment in your business. It's not a cost. When you go get $1, that's an investment in marketing. It's not a cost. I think a lot of entrepreneurs look at everything as a cost. But this business, if you do it right, you can make 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a month. So why wouldn't you want to invest $1,500 in VAs and softwares if that money can turn into 30, $40,000? That's a same return on your investment. You can't go nowhere else and make that type of money.
Exactly. A lot of
So
people probably have forgotten what the investment would mean, right? It's the result that you're looking for afterwards.
yeah,
It's not the cost that you're trying to look at or trying to formulate to your business. It's always going to be the investment.
yeah,
And that,
because when you break it down, like people invest in things based on what they see the end result could be, not the process to get there, right? And that's
mm,
why, that's the whole point of us offering like the business in a box, because a lot of clients, they'll watch a video here, they'll watch a video there, and they're trying to put their business together as they go. And the next thing you know, they in month 6, month 7, and they haven't even gotten a contract because they've been working, you know, in their business instead of on their business, and that stops you from seeing money. So contracts equals money. Actually, cold call equals money too, because without the cold calling and the lead generation, there's no one to actually talk to qualify to even get a contract. So, like I tell even all of our businesses, if your calendar empty, you're not making money. Don't care what you say. But if your calendar full and there's people to talk to and have conversations with, to offer, make offers on, then you're probably going to end up getting a contract and eventually making money.
definitely, because you're giving yourself a chance to be
Hmm.
able to close, and that's what matters the most. Is to have that kind of an ability wherein you have the chance to actually close, and then after you do that, let's say you already have a fully booked up calendar, and then you're showing up on appointments. Then at that time, since you already have that chance to actually talk to them and you're still not getting any deal, probably you need to listen to your virtual assistant's calls, or even to your calls, to your conversation, and see what's missing.
Yeah,
Right.
I think at that point it would be a disconnect issue with the sales. So like if the VAs are getting you leads and you can't turn the leads into contracts, then you're probably lacking the skills and the resources to persuade a person to do a agreement with you over the phone or at their house. So one of the most important things we teach is learning how to listen, right? Like I said earlier, stop being so transactional, thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna make 40 offers this week." But what if you only needed to make 10 offers by just listening and giving people a solution to their problems? You'll probably get more contracts than a person who's blindly just shooting, spitting out offers based on what they think that person will accept.
Exactly. On the virtual assistant training that we do, I actually put them on the customer shoe or the prospect shoe. Think of how would you feel if you are the receiving end of what you're going to say, right?
Right?
Think of what are the things that you would like to hear versus on what you're actually saying. I could tell you this, that there are an amount of words that you could just replace with something synonymous, and then it would sound good on the phone, and then it will feel as if that is like something that you have delivered differently. But still, the solution has to be there, right? But putting yourself into the prospect shoe is something that you are actually going to be able to realize, because the common denominator there is that the both of you are human beings. You're not talking to an AI, but
Exactly.
sometimes your prospects, they just want to be heard, and you need to give yourself some time to actually listen to them as well, so that you can understand the solution that they're looking for. And then if you're the right fit, then it should be a good to go. There shouldn't be a reason wherein you're not going to be the right fit for them, or you're not going to be able to provide to what they need. Of course, sometimes it's the numbers that totally differs from how much you calculated the ARV and to the final offer, but it is what it is, right? Those
Right.
are things that you're probably not able to control.
And like I be telling my one of my one-on-one clients, Stick to your numbers. Just because they want 200,000, if your number's saying 140, stick to it. You can't force something to work when it don't work. You're disserving yourself and you're disserving the seller because if you can't perform on that agreement, then they still ain't get their house sold. And most importantly, if you can't perform on that agreement, you ain't make a profit. So if your numbers is around 140, then you have to start to show and persuade the seller that hey, my offer is based on the as is price of your house and the current condition of the market, right? I don't know, 6 months ago is 6 months ago. And then I'm buying a house where I don't know what 12 months from now looks like either. So once you show them both sides of the coin and you're talking to them in a way that you're trying to show them fairness on their end as well as your end, and you're just trying to establish common ground, then guess what? They're going to rationalize enough with you and may consider your offer. But you got to persuade them good enough to show them this is why it's what it is, right? But if you're just saying, hey, I got 120,000, take it or leave it, people are not going to buy that. But if you say, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm trying to really justify, this $150,000 offer. I look up and down, around and around, and I can't find any comps that justify it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm right around 120, based on looking at everything. Is there any other houses that you see that I can justify offering you around 150? And let them do the work for you. No? Okay, great. Well, that's being said, Mr. Seller, I'll be honest with you. I was over here sell for about 115 to 120. I'm at the top of my offer at 120. And at the end of the day, I have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure the money that's given to me, I make a profit on. Most importantly, that the sellers get as much as possible for their house that their house is currently worth. And based on what I'm telling you, everything I see, your house is worth about around 120. Is this something that we can move forward with? And just be honest. See, everybody wants to escape the honesty because it makes it uncomfortable for them to talk about that. But even if they say, oh, 120, I can't see 120, I say, well, Mr. Seller, that's just what the market telling me right now. If it was a little more, I definitely would offer you everything you deserve on your property. But unfortunately, this is what the house is worth. So setting expectations with people and being firm and being fair at the same time, but will get you more contracts.
Yep, and stay away from sounding as if you're going to have an argument with them. Don't be argumentative. Just like
Yeah,
how Anton delivered it. The seller, this is how we see it on the market, yada yada yada, and all of that good stuff.
yeah. So you're gonna have to have conversations. The one thing, friends, I see a lot of people make mistakes in when we talk to them and we look at them and why they're not doing deals.
Mm.
A lot of people make mistakes because they get stuck on one or two leads, and they just, I'm not going to talk to nobody else leads until I get him to sign with me, or you got to move forward in your business. The business is like a factory. Leads in, leads out. Leads that don't come out yet, you keep them on rotation and just follow up with them, right? And most of the times, you can get away with using some type of automation system that automatically send a text or regular voice just to get that touch, because people are not, everybody not ready, right? The reason why some people might not be ready right now, and they may be ready to rock and roll February or March of next year, but you're talking to them now and building rapport, is because it's the holiday time and no one wants to move in the cold, as well as no one wants to move before the Christmas. Who want to
During the
move to a new
holidays.
house? Yeah, who want to move into a new house on Christmas? So here's some sauce I'm about to give you guys, especially watching the replay. If a owner occupier may not want to sell during the wintertime voluntarily, right? Um, what else list could I go to that they will sell no matter what time of the season is? Your tire landlords. Because at the end of the day, if they know that it's going to be hard for them to lease a house, or the house got too many repairs, or it's just too much of a hassle, it's the middle of winter, they will be more open to just selling it and liquidating it and making a profit than to try to fix it up and put a tenant in it in the middle of December, January. So that being said, you guys should be pulling lists of landlords, tire landlords, people that own three or more properties. There's so many. I think we probably get burning on here one night to talk about how many ways you can extract different people that own multiple properties. And they might not even be a landlord. They just probably got a bunch of properties. And that list, you should be rocking that list all through the cold months because most landlords, you think about it, a landlord got a house and needs work, the pipe bust because it was so cold and it was a basement full of water, but they don't want to, pay the $12,000 in renovations right now. Will they be more open to selling their property because it's a basement full of water and they just don't have the money or they have the resources to fix a $12,000 issue? But if they sell it, they still can make a ton of money because they have equity. So sometimes, guys, you got to stop thinking of how the seasons flow, right? Going into the springtime, who I'm going to be targeting? You know what I mean? I'm going to be targeting people, older people that had two-story houses that may be interested in moving even down south or to a one-story house, a single-family story house, because they tired of walking up and down the steps. So, as a real estate entrepreneur, you have to be a strategist in who your ideal customers is. The same way all the other industries understand who their target and ideal customers is, I don't think real estate entrepreneurs put as much effort into that thought process.
I agree. Well, looking at it from a standpoint wherein I am a virtual assistant and being exposed to this type of a business and being able to talk to like different business owners as well and see how they struggle on their business, I can definitely say that I was able to witness that too.
Yeah,
And a lot of other things as well is that people tend to forget what really the value is of what they're learning, right? So we're going back to the learning process of becoming a real estate professional or entrepreneur, just like what you mentioned earlier. Do you need to stop the learnings when you've already gotten like one, two, or three deals?
no, I think learning is a continuous educational thing. I still pay for trainings and learn everything, every subject in the business. No matter what business I'm working, I'm still learning because at the end of the day, learning should never cease. There's always going to be new things, new strategies, new trends. You want to be ahead of that stuff. So I always say carve out time as an entrepreneur to invest in yourself weekly, right? Utilize your dead time that whether you're driving down the street or you're in the bathroom, using the bathroom, taking a shower, that's the times you can be playing podcasts, playing audio books, studying right before you go to bed, give yourself 15 minutes worth of like studying, and I guarantee you that stuff gonna compound in 2, 3 months. You're gonna know like a bunch more than you didn't know 2, 3 months ago. So continue to invest in yourself and learn. It don't always have to be paid stuff. You can find free stuff, a podcast. Like if you're on a budget, like there isn't no excuses. The entry point into this business, literally, you can go into your phone right now and text every single person and say, hey, anybody got a house they looking to sell in the next 60 days, let me know. I'm looking to buy one for cash. Go on your phone. I guarantee you somebody text you back. Yeah, I got a house. Yeah, my cousin got a house. Yeah, we looking to sell. Like you'll be surprised how many people you can do business with just by going on your phone, going on your social media account. Anybody got a house they're looking to sell in the next 60 days. I'm looking to buy a house all cash as is, no repairs needed. And just by being intentional, and saying that, you attract customers. You attract people that want to do business with you.
Right. And then, so a lot of people always talk about like how do you get your first deal, how to get your first deal on a contract, and this and that. It's always about getting started. But how about being like consistent? Is it something that can be truly defined by what you learn, that you can be consistently knocking off deals every month? Or based on your experience, have you seen someone who actually had that kind of a number, or have you experienced that yourself?
I think the difference between people who do deals every month and then the people who may do deals here and there once every 2, 3 months is the fact that they have infrastructure. And it doesn't mean just hire a bunch of VAs and pay them. It means that they are friends with other people, other investors. So maybe they can bring something to the table. Maybe there's a lot of investors who realize that acquisitions isn't for me, but I do love talking to people and I can sell deals, and they just go focus on building their buyers list, and then they're the
Cool.
ones that are selling deals for other people. So I think in real estate, you just got to get in where you fit in and figure out, what your specialty is, right? You may come to the conclusion and say, you know what, I'm not even gonna worry about selling my deals. I'm just gonna worry about getting them on the contract. You know what? I'm not even gonna worry about even talking to sellers. I'm gonna have me 5 VAs and I'm gonna find me 3 companies I can partner with, and I'm gonna give them my leads and we're gonna split everything we lock up. So you just gotta figure out exactly um what your place is, because the real estate, transaction pipeline is so wide and big. I think they said like on every real estate transaction, like 40, 50 people get paid. You got to think about your title company, your appraisal, the mortgage lender, the hard money lender, the surveyor, the city clerk. Like, there's so many people involved in one transaction that everybody, gets paid. You know what I mean? So we had a
Right.
question for Natasha.
How would you handle sellers that aren't selling for any specific reason other than trying to get all the equity so they don't budge on the asking price?
Yeah, I think that right there, you just gotta figure out. You just gotta stay on the phone with them and ask them a lot of off subject questions. Like the deal isn't as important to them, so you gotta figure out another way to the back door, right? And let me explain what I mean. So if a person say, "Yo, I'm just trying to get all I can for my property. I don't have an asking price," then say, "Hey, great. Well, since you don't have an asking price, let's try to figure this out together. Um, if I were to buy your house for cash right now, how much money you think would go towards paying off your mortgage and any taxes or any other fees that associated with the house?" If they say, "Yeah, about 130, 40,000," okay, great. Now, taking into consideration what we think the house is worth, um, how much would you want to walk away with after paying all of that we just talked about? They say, "Yeah, I want to walk away with at least 40,000." Then if they owe 150 and they want to walk away with 40,000, then their offer probably right around under 200,000. So what you gotta do is you gotta put in the simplest terms and say, okay, well, Mr. Seller, based on what you're telling me, 150 pay off your house, you want to walk away with 40. So you're looking right around 200,000 for this property, and let them correct you. No, 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 no. I ain't say that. I need more than that. Okay, great. Well, explain to me what more do you need since you want to walk away with 40, and let them justify it. And then you come back and you just need to have acknowledgement of the market and say, Mr. Seller, I'm be honest with you. Are you familiar with the house across the street from you, 1123 Antoine Campbell Lane? Sure. Yeah, that house sold for 175 cash as is. And it has a pool in the backyard. I'm looking at your house, I don't see a pool. And then explain to them in the most appropriate manner that, hey, listen, Mr. Seller, based on everything I'm looking at about your neighborhood, I just can't see anything past 200,000 for houses that's in its current same as is condition. Is there something I'm missing? Please help me out. And let them justify to them. And what you're going to realize is that some of these sellers just want their ego stroked, and they know a lot of these newbie investors are calling, and they falling right in the trap of give me an offer, give me an offer. If someone keeps telling you to get your offer, slow down the conversation. Hey, Mr. Seller, I'll be honest with you. Giving your offer is the easiest part of my job. The offer I currently have for you right now, it wouldn't make sense for me to even tell you the number. Allow me to at least ask you a few more questions so I can get you the best offer I can. And that's how you slow down the conversation. If they continue to push you and rush you, they're not really interested in selling. So that's one of the things I accept. That, yo, this person not ready right now. Put them on a follow up list, right? I think in Prospect Vault we have a 6 months follow up sequence where the system will automatically keep touching bases with them. Just remember that don't get stuck on one deal. There's plenty of people out there that need your services, that wants to sell, that needs to sell, that has to sell, and that you shouldn't be stuck on dealing with a person who isn't even motivated enough to tell you what their offer is or what they think they should get for their property.
Exactly. Again, guys, it's a chances game. It's like you need to expose yourself to more chances is how you close the deal. But when you just include or you just focus on one and then it's not even making sense for you, you're just trying your best, you're trying hard on it, then it might not be worth it.
Exactly. And we walk away from so many transactions like a person saying, "Yo, give me 3 million, I sell it." Your VA's gotta pick up on that and be understand that this person is being sarcastic. You need to pick up on, you're calling for a house in a $200,000 neighborhood and they ask for 400,000. First thing to ask them is, "Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm just curious, what am I missing for you to say your house, you're looking for 400,000? Is there an extra house that's coming with this house, a piece of land? Did you make significant repairs that we can't see? If I feel like I'm missing something, can you help me out?" And then the people want to be rude to you. No, that's just my price. Say, best of luck to you. I hope you get that price, but honestly, that's a price that we can't even do if we wanted to. And just be okay with walking away. It's okay. Reach back out to people. The one thing that I know about this country is that I think 75% of all Americans don't even have $1,000 in their savings account. So what that says is a person cannot be motivated today and cuss you out and call you all types of names and tell you to get off their phone. And if they go through anything such as losing their job, getting sick, injured, within the same week, they can turn around and be a motivated seller because they have to get rid of their property. They can't afford it. We're a country, we one of like the few countries in the world that live primarily off credit. Other places in the country, in the world, if you don't have cash to build your house or buy a house, you ain't getting it. So for us, it puts people in a very awkward situation because they 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 need to sell a house or they have to sell a house because they can't afford it anymore. If you lose your job right now, how much money you have in the bank to pay your rent for how long, right? So that's something that a lot of people even now banks are starting back to foreclose full steam ahead. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities where you can get deals and get houses for reasonable prices. Also, I want you guys to find a short sale negotiator um that's like realtor friendly too. I would personally find a negotiator before I find a realtor because the short sale negotiator knows all of the realtors that short sale friendly. I wouldn't find a short sale realtor first because that realtor has a fiduciary responsibility to get that seller highest and best price for the house, even though they're not making any money off the short sale, which is stupid. So I would find a short sale negotiator, and I would go after houses that's underwater too. That's another way you can get good leads. People that owe so much on their house that they don't care. They want to sign a contract because they just sick and tired of banks calling every day looking for their money. So they're like, "Yo, come take this house. I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't want it. Here, I sign." But it may take you 5 or 6 months to get paid because your short sale negotiator, which shouldn't be paying, which shouldn't be charging you to do the short sale because they're going to charge the bank and the bank won't pay them, should be negotiating and putting that thing on the putting that short sale together, and then you just need to have your paperwork together, right? You need to. This goes back to sh- the intention, showing the bank that you have all the intentions to close and you can close and perform. So make sure that you have your investors on standby. If you're going to be doing short sales, um, always put your deals under contract in a blank LLC or a fresh LLC so that you can assign the contract because most banks don't accept assignment fees on the hood as a short sale because the bank already taking a loss and they wouldn't want to be losing any more money. So the way to get around the short sale is to sign the interest of the LLC to the buyer versus signing the contract. Any more questions?
I think that's about it. We're definitely gonna have more in the future. So for those people who are just watching, if you are,
I can't
or
see
if
all the
you have
comments.
any, hmm?
I said I can't see all the comments.
Yeah, no, I mean for the other people who are watching this, for those people who are going to watch the replay, if you post a question on the comments, we'll be able to answer it. Or if you want to get on our list, just go to www.ceo929.com. You can ask question there, and we'll be more than happy to help. And to actually close this, I don't know what to call it. It's like a podcast today, like a Q&A session, a Q&A session. Uh, Earlier we talked about getting consistent deals after getting the first or second one, and there's truly not really much of like a number that you can tell, right, on how many you could do on a monthly basis. But what Anton mentioned earlier is about having the structure, the infrastructure, as well as the strategies in place that you will always need to follow to make things consistent. And in that sense, we have opened up to new opportunities for our community and for our clientele, that you can actually partner with us in a sense wherein we're not only going to help you get started, but we'll also help you be consistent and more established in this business. Now, with the years and years of Anton's experience, that's something that he will be able to teach to you. Of course, he can't think of all of the things at once, but that's the reason why you're going to work with him on a VIP day. So we do have what we call like a business in a box. It's something that we have completely been polishing up over the years. We have different clientele who have been provided with different services, but now it is focused towards on making sure that the goal that you have that is appropriate to you is something that you will be able to do. You can either follow the standard procedures that we have, the standard way of doing things that we have. But if you have a different goal, of course, Anton will be there for you to hold your hand and actually get you what you wanted. So you can go to www.co929.com /VIP. It's actually on the chat if you can see it. But again, it's www.co929.com /VIP. And then what's going to happen is that basically you schedule a call with us after you read what we put out there and see if it's a good fit for us to work with you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we tell people. I think a lot of people struggle in this business because they lack an implementation coach. And like
Exactly.
you can go anywhere and get how to wholesale. You can go anywhere to get how to wholesale courses, but there's not too many people I can think of that's actually helping you implement the information they're teaching. That actually have the proven systems and the SOPs and the teams in place and the infrastructure in place to help you, set up your business and get going to the point where you're not struggling. You're not stuck up all night, 2, 3 in the morning watching YouTube, trying to figure it out. It's already done for you. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to invest in yourself, it's definitely an investment, right? It ain't crazy expensive, but it's definitely an investment. Go to CEO929.com /VIP and set up a call with us, and we'll talk to you through your situation. We do these calls, and we want to figure out exactly how could we help you. If we can't help you, we'll tell you the honest God truth. Listen, I don't think we're for you, or this is a program for you, but here's another program, or we'll give you a game plan. You know what I mean? This is what I would do. I wouldn't invest right now in myself. I would do this and do that based on my budget. So that's one of the that's one of the things. Sorry about that. Someone's messaging me. That's one of the things that a lot of our clients appreciate, the fact that we actually focus on the implementation of things. So now there's no excuses of why you can't accomplish what you set out to accomplish because you have someone holding your hand and working with you. Also, if you're looking for one-on-ones, we don't even really offer this, right? Because I don't look at myself as a guru or coach. But if you're looking for one-on-ones where you got my undivided attention and we want to come out to my office for a VIP day and really get that white glove service, say that in the message, like in the notes. Hey, I want a one-on-one. I want a VIP day, and we'll try our best to accommodate that for you. Like I said, it's an investment. Uh, Everybody has a story. Everybody struggles. We hear a lot of stories. I'm not saying that we don't feel sorry for nobody, but we're definitely a business, and we definitely want to be treated with the same respect, right? That's what we create this YouTube channel for. So if you're in a situation where you can't make an investment yourself, we have so much content on YouTube that you still can probably accomplish what you need to accomplish. You just gonna have to watch a bunch of videos to get to that point. So that being said, man, I appreciate everybody. We're gonna be back with more content. We're gonna be back with more podcast guests, events, blogs. We got so much in store for you guys. So if you've been on the ropes for the last 2 3 months struggling trying to launch your business, don't worry, we got your back.
Yep. We usually go live on at 7 or 8, and of course, it in times like this, it might be that you're just stuck with us. For the meantime, a lot of people are busy, but we always make it a time, or we'll always make time for our community to be able to understand further how they can be consistent in their business and establish it well enough that it will be something that you can be truly proud of, in a sense wherein it's generating results, and that's what we are after. All
Exactly.
right.
I love
So
this.
again, for those people, if you have any questions,
I hate when we do the new Facebook pages because I can't see the name because they got to accept the StreamYard thing, I think. But
yeah,
so
yeah, they,
listen, I graduated high school. I had to do 36 hours of community service. I'm done with the community service. But we like I said, no disrespect to nobody. This is why we do Facebook. This is why we do some of our live events. This is why we do some of our live webinars where we bring people on teach. But there's still value there. But if you're ready to go to the moon and go to the next level, you're going to have to understand the concept of pay to play, right? When I want to go learn something or go do something, friends, tell how many courses and products I go buy other people's when I'm ready to learn to get my skills to the next level. I'm always investing in myself, softwares, systems. Like, I spend no expense when it comes to stuff like that because I believe in me. And when you believe in yourself, you're never going to be hesitant to invest in yourself. That's just what I got to say about that.
countless, again, countless. It's always the word countless.
Yeah, so that being said, well, we're gonna be back probably Thursday or Friday night. We're gonna this YouTube channel, man. We're gonna really beefing it up with content. Thank you, everybody. We've seen our taking uptick in views and engagement, so we know that the YouTube algorithm is really showing us love. If you can do me a favor and like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with one person you think it may benefit, that would really help us out with the YouTube algorithm and more people would be able to see our content. This content is, we try to make it not fluffy. We try to be raw and get you the information you need so you can implement it in real time.
Yeah, basically, we work our way out from questions that we have been receiving and some experiences, and then the research that we have done as well. But nothing about the fluff. We, as much as possible, we don't want to do that. Anyway, get on our email list. Go to www.ceo929.com. If you see the form there, just fill it out. Again, you can schedule a call with us. We'll be more than happy to speak with you and help you resolve your business concerns. And this is it for today. I don't think we have done it enough that I forgot our outro.
Yeah,
Let's
we
do
don't even
it.
have an outro video. Do we have an outro video? Oh,
No, no,
no.
yeah, not for
On
the
the
new
next one,
brand
we're
new
going to
one.
have the whole shebang. Don't you worry.
All right, everybody. Good night. Good night.
Good night. Talk to y'all later.